For the past 3 years, I've been building one of the biggest LEGO Venators of all time. It comes in at a whopping 7 feet long, which absolutely dwarfs the LEGO UCS Venator. It comes with a complete interior which has room for LEGO ships and vehicles, and is completely lit up. Thanks to Lighting and Bricksmax, who are not sponsoring this project, but they did provide all the lights for free on this project because they thought it was so cool. By the way, if you think this is cool as well, maybe you should consider subscribing because our next mock is going to be even better. By the way, this might have something to do with the next mock, but we'll be talking about that later on in the video. Now, beginning to take a look at the mock, this is from episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, unlike the LEGO version which is currently available, which is from the Clone Wars animated TV show. There isn't a lot of differences between the two models, but I wanted to make that very distinct that I'm not going for the Clone Wars style. One of the main differences includes where the Republic logo goes on the Venator, and there are so many other small things that it would take forever to go into. But to really give credit to where I got my inspiration for this mock from, was from this 3D model that I'm going to link in the description down below that gave a really detailed analysis of what everything is supposed to look like on the Venator. Some of the details I focused on were the bridge and trying to replicate that to perfection, as you can see with the comparison pictures I'm showing on screen right now, with all the gray marks being exactly in place, some gribbling marks. I really tried to make this thing as accurate as possible because I care so much about my mocks. I would have loved to try to do some of this detailing on the panels as well, but I have been working on this mock for 3 years and I'm honestly so exhausted with it. I really just want to start something fresh. But that's not to say I won't come back to this mock in the future and make modifications that will make this thing even better, because this thing is not getting destroyed. Let me rephrase that. At least this thing is not getting destroyed intentionally. You see, over the past 3 years, this thing has been through a lot, such as the LEGO UCS Death Star falling from a 7 feet drop on top of it, me spilling milk on it, and me falling on it. Yes, I fell on the Venator, and it kind of hurt. Please subscribe. But through all that, we never gave up on the mock, and we kept striving to get this thing done. Even before Brooklyn, Chicago, the Venator bridge broke twice, and it was absolutely devastating to me. But we still got this thing done on time for Brooklyn, Chicago. Continuing to take a look at the exterior details, you may be curious about this gap right here. Well, this is for a weapons turret that I just didn't get around to. But moving along down the side of the Venator, we can take a look at this amazing automatic door. However, this door is really hard to motorize because it is on an angle, but we were still able to do it nonetheless, and it looks absolutely great. Continuing along the side of the LEGO Venator, one of the things I wanted to focus on was the weapon turret room. As you can see, two little pointy thingies are sticking out. Those are the weapon turrets that I got from the LEGO Battle Pack, and this is to capture the iconic scene from Revenge of the Sith when the Separatist Dreadnought was going up against the Venator, which is something I really want to try and incorporate into this mock. P.S. This is also mirrored on the other side of the build. Then moving around to the back side of the mock, this was also something I had a major hard time with. Mainly was working on trying to get these engines to be absolutely perfect and not sag. And I think I did a pretty good job considering how much weight is in each one of these engines. Each one of these engines has about maybe 600 to 700 pieces, which is kind of crazy. You can't see it, but they're all inside there, incorporated in between each one of the little wells. But there is so many pieces inside this piece right here, and it made it super hard to counter the weight of the entire ship with inside this. Another item I wanted to show off was this really cool angled triangle piece. It's really hard to create, but I think it came out pretty well in representing the Venator on this back tail section, and it really complements these engines. Moving along, one of the things I really wanted to cover were these weapon turrets, which seem to be people's favorite thing on the Venator, and I don't blame them. It's the one thing I actually designed in LDD, LEGO Digital Designer, for this mock. To create the really nice angled effect, I used a lot of cheese slopes and 2 telephone pieces to get the look I was going for. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any way to light these up conveniently because this panel is so fragile, it literally breaks in half every single day of my life, and I cannot stand it. Moving on to the Venator's interior, we have 2 hangars, one in the front and one in the back. In the front, I always wanted this to be a micro scale hangar, but I have human-sized doors to make it work with the rest of the ship. In the front hangar, we have a scene from Order 66, when Jesse and the 501st are fighting off against Ahsoka Tano and Captain Rex. A very tragic scene if I do say so myself. Then we move along to this 5-stud wall, which is one of my favorite walls inside the entire ship because we fit so much inside. Inside here, it holds the structural core of the front end of the ship, along with beds, a weapons wall, and remote control doors. Yes, remote control doors. All these doors move on the same chain and all of them can close and open at the same time. This definitely took a long time to design, but I figured that'd be a good thing to have in case the ship was infiltrated by the Separatist Alliance and we needed to close off half the ship immediately. Then, taking a look at this side of the ship, we have the Sig Fig Lounge, which you could have been in if you donated $30 or more in this series over the course of a lifetime. So I wanted to shout out every single one of you people that are inside there, especially Tyler Life Brick Studios, because Tyler Life Brick Studios actually gave me a huge discount on a lot of these parts from his Bricklink store. Without him and others like him, I don't know if this box would have been possible, and I really want to say thank you to you guys. I don't want to repeat myself too many times, but honestly, thank you so much for all the support. 10-year-old me never thought I would have a big enough of a following where people would actually donate to my mock series, and I really do appreciate it. Then moving on to the other side of the Venator, we have an armory which has a bunch of weapons, helmets, and whatever your clone trooper needs for battle. Then below it, we have this room that is basically a planning room. It's not much, but it's a low something. Then to mirror that, on the other side, we have the prison cell, and is a perfect place to hold Darth Maul while he's in prison. Then expanding onto the rest of the space on the bottom floor, there's not much there. Originally, I wanted to have TX-130s be housed down there, at least 3 or 4 of them, but now it is used for 15 Follow First Bark Spears due to the fact that we had to shrink the size of this lower bay, unfortunately, just to make everything work proportionally well, but it still does hold 15 Follow First Spear bikes, which is kind of impressive, because those things are extremely long. Then moving up to the second level, we have the main hangar bay, which we can store a bunch of vehicles. From the Malevolence to the Y-Wing, there's no limit on what this thing can hold. It's absolutely insane the amount of stuff I've been able to fit inside this hangar. And I plan on making a video on every vehicle that can fit inside the ship very soon. So make sure to subscribe with notifications on, otherwise you might miss that video. Continuing on, we have both of these rooms on each side of the mock. These rooms are used to hold all the mechanics we need for the lights, for doors, all that stuff. We use that room right there and right there to hold all of them. Then we also have 2 mirroring rooms again on both sides. We have these weapon turrets room, which we touched on a bit earlier. These are very reminiscent of Revenge of the Sith, and I'm very happy with how they came out. Then aligning the hallways, we have these Republic and Imperial hallways that are used with a snot technique, which is really fascinating. I did not think of this design. Someone did a long time ago, and I've just modified it to make it work with my design. I've seen these in thousands of mocks, so I don't know who originally thought of it. Moving towards the back tail section, this is one of the hardest parts of the ship to design, mainly because of the structural integrity of it. You see, sagging is a big issue in the LEGO space. It's even shown on the LEGO UCS Venator that their engines sag. Now, that is an engine that has like 5-6 pieces, compared to mine that have thousands of pieces inside them, which is not good, because this is really heavy. Now, I would have been easy to counterweight this if I had no interior, but since I have a full interior, I can't counterweight it. So there's only 5 studs of support for this entire thing, and yet I was able to make 1,000-piece engines not sag. Well, for the most part. Sometimes they do. It's a day-by-day basis, but, you know, it works, and it's all because of this massive bridge, which we'll be going into next. Taking a look at the interior of the bridge, we have a micro bridge. Well, kinda. It's minifig scale-ish, but it's not quite. We didn't have a lot of space to work with, so I wanted to try and do something with it. So this is the bridge. It works. It's supposed to be up there, and there's supposed to be 2 of them, but there's 1 of them, and it's inside here. And I think this works rather well for it. I didn't get to work on this as much as I wanted to for this mock. Maybe it's something I'll come back to in the future, but it's something, and I'm more than happy with how it came out. Then moving to the back section right here, we have Ulorn in his little meeting conference room, which is shown in the Venator. This is very accurate to the design of the Venator, and is one of the reasons why I was so happy when the UCS Venator set was revealed, because I really wanted an Admiral Ulorn minifigure. And now the moment you all have been waiting for. The next mock is... Nah, I'm not going to tell you guys that yet, but I will tell you it is going to be a Separatist ship of some kind. Okay, I will tell you that, and it's going to oppose the Venator, which is one of the reasons why we're going to keep the Venator for the next few years, because hopefully 2025, 2026, we will have another Separatist ship to go against it. We do have a time-lapse tomorrow coming out of the UCS Venator, along with another video showcasing all the ships that fit inside the UCS Venator coming out next week, so make sure to subscribe down below and turn on notifications, because you do not want to miss what we have in store for the future of the channel. And with that, I say thank you to all you guys. I can't believe we made it to the finale of the Venator. We've been doing this thing for so long, and I really appreciate all the support. With that said, peace out and goodbye, and that's it for the Venator series.